Welcome to Sherwood, my ladies and gentlemen. I was just watching Adventures of Robin Hood on TV before I started the stream. One of my favorite movies ever. I'm looking down to see if I get a message from my wife in the chat that I'm actually on, because I never trust that I actually am on. I'm always positive I've screwed something up in here besides my lighting. It's that window back there. I got to get like a screen or something like that to help block a little of that early morning light. There's my wife and my moderator. So, good Sunday morning. Well, at least morning out here in the American Far West, as the British sometimes refer to it. It is 10 a.m. It is 96 degrees already. It was 90 when I got up at about 7 a.m. So we're heading into some hot stuff right now in Las Vegas, Nevada. A little hotter than usual this early on, but it's supposed to dip down a little bit here in the next few days. So what do we got today? We're going to talk about very little news. We're going to talk about some new releases, new campaigns that hit my radar this week. We'll talk about some goodies that showed up in the den. We're going to do some reviews of some comics and some movies. And we're going to be pulling some old VHS tapes out of a mystery box that showed up this week from my wife's father's house. They're kind of clearing stuff out to move to a new place. I don't know what's in this box. Could be nothing. Could be something cool. Who knows? We'll take a look as we go. And I would actually lift this box up here, but it's huge and I would hurt myself. So I'm not going to do that. But we'll take a look at those as we go. So let's start off with a little bit of news, and sadly not happy news. I've covered a few celebrities passing away here on this live stream, and unfortunately, if you're a pop culture person, from when I am, a lot of the actors that you grew up with are reaching those older ages. So this week we lost Loretta Swit, most well known as Major Margaret Houlihan on MASH. She did a great job, and she really expanded her character over the course of the show. The earlier episodes, which tend to be the funniest episodes as well. You had Frank Burns, the little ferret face, the little weasel, the jerk, and she was sort of his girl. And she was regular army. She wanted to see more discipline, etc. Over the course of the series, though, she manages to sort of become a little more human, which is nice, and rounded the character out some. I think it helped probably when Larry Linville left the show. So you swap out Frank Burns for Major Winchester, who was a great character. One thing that MASH was really lucky with, I say luck, maybe it was also a lot to do with the talent of the writers and the people doing the casting, was they lost a few major characters over the course of the show, and they were able to replace them with other really great characters. Trapper John replaced with BJ Honeycutt, like I just said, Frank Burns with Major Winchester, Colonel Blake with Colonel Potter. When Radar left the show, Klinger becomes a more important character. So great show. The other thing, though, it got me thinking about was that MASH was on, I think, 11 years. Its finale is definitely, percentage-wise, the biggest, most watched show in American history. Will probably remain so, since it was from a time when you had fewer channels, so the pop culture wasn't as fragmented. And it was always up for Emmys. It was always high rated. A fan of MASH for the original. No, I like the changes. That's from Anton. Massapust? I don't know if I'm getting that name right. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Asking if I was more a fan of the earlier MASH seasons than the later. Yes and no. Like I said, I think the earlier seasons were a little more comedy and a little more goofy, especially with Frank Burns. He was such an easy target. And then the later ones, I think they got a little more dramatic as it went. But you did get like Major Winchester, who was like actually a worthy opponent for Hawkeye and BJ. You know, they couldn't run over him like they did Frank Burns. So, oh, good. I got it right. So yeah, I like the later ones too, but for like different reasons. It changed over a decade. It really should change. I think it stayed extremely high quality over the whole run. But I will admit, the first couple seasons are when I laughed the most at it. And those are the ones I remember the most from my childhood, because I grew up with this show. I mean, and that's what I was going to say. The interesting thing to me with MASH is, considering how huge it was in pop culture at the time, you don't hear about it a massive amount nowadays. I think if you were talking to like anyone from Gen X, from the baby boom generation, you bring up something about MASH, well, you're going to have a conversation, because like, we know this show. We all have favorite moments. We all have favorite characters, right? You talk to somebody younger and maybe they've heard of it. Maybe they saw it, but possibly not. It's kind of crazy. When you consider though, that like you have shows, like say Knight Rider, or, you get a lot of shows that end up kind of getting remade, later on, that are more maybe in the popular consciousness of people, and MASH not so much. And we never hear about like a MASH remake, which thank you. I don't want a MASH remake. But you would think you would, because of how huge it was. You'd think that's like the first thing that somebody would want to remake because of the popularity, because it's a well-known name, and I mean, you could readapt the novel. You could do something based on the TV series, what have you. You could do something based on the movie that adapted the novel. But really nothing. I wonder if that's ever been sort of behind the scenes happening. Why they didn't want to end the war at the end of the original run, but they let them do a TV movie. And said, oh, yeah. And that TV movie was like, it was huge. I mean, that was just unbelievable. I can remember watching it when it was on. In fact, I still have. Oh, I should have grabbed it too, but I don't want to have to go over there and try to dig through. But I still have the TV guide that had that, the cover for the MASH finale, because like I was obsessed like with military stuff as a kid. And so here it was like, it was military, but it was comedy, and MASH was like my thing. I just was, Hawkeye and all that. Just, yeah. But fond farewell to Loretta Swit. Godspeed. Great actress on a great show. And it would be great if a lot of younger people could rediscover it. I think they'd find a lot there. A few things that maybe would be a little tougher with some of the modern cultural changes. But I think if you kind of accept where it was coming from, why it was what it was, maybe not as shocking, and maybe not all that shocking really to a lot of people, maybe just shocking to a handful of really noisy people online. So the only thing I saw that was kind of newsy oriented that caught my eye, because frankly, a lot of the news, I'm just, it's not news anymore to me. Hollywood rewinds and brings back VHS. Now, this was from a website called flatpanelshd.com. Now, it's news and it's not news, because I guess they started doing this a while back, but I wasn't aware of it. Now, I don't think modern VHS tapes are going to take off the way modern vinyl has, for a couple reasons. I think for most people, they're going to find the quality of the VHS tapes not high enough. Now, personally, what I kind of like about VHS tapes is I don't have a menu. I don't have the VHS telling me I'm not allowed to do this or do that because I have to watch commercials first. I can just put it in, fast forward to where I want to fast forward, play it from where I want to play it, rewind it when I'm done. I love that about VHS tapes. DVDs sometimes make me angry, mostly because, that operation is prohibited. Wait. I own the machine and I own the disc. Don't tell me what I can do. But, and vinyl sounds better than CDs. It really does. Now, it's not as compact disc, not as compact a storage system, but you get a richer sound out of vinyl, which is why I think it's really taken off. So we're probably not going to get that with VHS, but if you're an old nerd, it's going to be fun, to maybe pick up some of these. However, so they bring up They Live. So I went over to Amazon to take a look. I did find it. About $90. And what's funny to me is that way back when I was like a video store clerk, and maybe even a little before that, really, that's about what VHS tapes cost, in that kind of range, which is why you had rental stores, because unless you were rich, you just couldn't afford to buy a bunch of movies on VHS. So a store could buy them, rent them out, make their money back. Top Gun, I think, was the first sell-through VHS tape, about $20. I remember Batman in 1989, same thing. And they sold like hotcakes. And then all of a sudden, Hollywood went, oh, you mean we could sell these things and make money? They're always the last to figure it out. And then $20 videotapes is pretty normal. And that's when, you started getting like Suncoast popping up everywhere with a lot more physical media out there. And of course, we go to DVDs, which carried on, those kind of prices. Maybe a little more expensive, but if we're, in the case of DVDs, you could buy like a full season of a TV show, for like maybe $30 or something. That's pretty damn good. Couldn't really do that with VHS tapes. Like they had all the Star Trek episodes on VHS, but dude, you'd fill like a bookcase with them practically if you were going to buy all of them, and it would be very, very expensive. So I think was there like a Time Life sort of thing for Star Trek episodes? Oh my God. I think there might've been. I think I remember seeing stuff like that. I am a fan of classic Doctor Who, Anton. Yes, I am, for sure. It's funny, like the first Doctor Who thing I ever watched was the Ninth Doctor. It was just something that wasn't on when I was a kid, so I never had picked it up, and I was vaguely aware of it. So I watched the Ninth Doctor, and I kind of enjoyed it, and then Netflix had some of the classic stuff on. So I'm like, oh, cool, let me watch one of those. When I first watched a Fourth Doctor episode, it was like, I felt like I'd been a fan of it my entire life. It was like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. So definitely a classic Who fan. In fact, I've been watching it from the beginning because I've never really done that. I've seen different serials here and there, kind of spotty. So I started with the First Doctor, first episode, and I'm now on the Third Doctor, the Silurians little serial. So I'm kind of in the middle of that one right now. So yeah, definitely fan. I love it. And I love the practical effects. I love how goofy some of the monsters look, much more than trying to make everything look like really super realistic. So VHS, and that to me brings up a good opportunity for me to knock my desk all over the place to start pulling out some tapes from the mystery box. Now this box is huge, and I have no idea what we're going to find in this thing, but I think we're going to find a bunch of screener copies. So let's bring up one first. Let's bring down the slideshow for a moment. We'll look at a few of these, and then we'll look at some new releases that are out. So what do we got here? We got Texas Guns, Willie Nelson, Richard Woodmark, Royal Dano, Sean Cassidy. Dude, I need to watch this. Hey, Peter, I still can't set a VCR clock. I don't think mine back there is set. We got 3 in the house. Well, we got 2 set up. We got another one floating around somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I did set my clock on it, to be honest with you. So Texas Guns. Some men took money, some men took lives. These men took both. Interesting. Sean Cassidy. Oh, no, that one dude. I can't think of his name right offhand. Let's see. Oh, Kevin McCarthy's in it. Chuck Connors, Ken Curtis, Jack Elam. Oh my God. Angie Dickinson. I mean, this is obviously all a little bit after, they were, in their prime. Okay, I think I'm back on. There was a disconnection there. Video settings are using. Oh, yeah. I kind of knew that was going to be an issue at some point. Okay, it looks like we're back on. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it was the OBS thing disconnected me for some reason. Well, that was going to happen eventually on one of these things. Okay. Well, I don't know how much was lost on Texas Guns, but it's got quite a cast. So I'm going to have to watch this one at some point. Iron Will, I do remember this videotape. $20 million action adventure hit. And it was, let's see. A lot of these are screener copies. So these were basically out there for like video store owners to kind of get a sample of something and see how many they wanted to order. This is from Walt Disney Home Video. What's interesting, though, it doesn't have the name of any of the actors, but I think that the guy's familiar. Anybody know who that actor is? Huh, interesting. All right. Now there's a couple in here that are just normal videotapes people recorded on. We got a George Strait special. Now can you tell my father-in-law loves country music, westerns, etc. Ooh, but we also have, and this might have been for my mother-in-law, Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. That was the late sequel to Dirty Dancing. Okay, now first I thought this was a racing video, but no, it's just this is Alan Jackson Christmas. With books too. Peter, we might have lost a comment in there because I'm not sure who we're referring to. But yeah, let me know because we went down for a minute. So my encoding is, I'm basically pushing this old computer as far and as fast as I can go. Oh, Mackenzie Aston. Okay. Oh, all right. We got a Northern Exposure episode. Aurora Borealis. All right, we'll do a couple more of these. We got 5 Mile Creek. This is another Disney one. Another Western. Starring Louise Kerr Clark, Rod Mulliner, Liz Birch, Michael Caton, Priscilla Weems, Martin Lewis, Gus Mercurio with Jay Kerr. So I don't really know anybody in this. 3rd volume of Walt Disney Home Video's fabulous frontier adventure series, 5 Mile Creek, filmed entirely on location in the wilds of Australia's pristine outback country. That kind of rings a bell. But again, I worked at a video store, just like my wife. In fact, the same video store. It's where we met. And so a lot of times, like, we'll see like a movie and we're like, oh, I remember that cover. I could walk into the remnants of that store now. It's something different. And I could probably walk exactly where it would have been on a shelf because we had to straighten the shelves so many times, and we had to, So there's a lot of movies where I recognize the cover and I've never seen the movie in my life. Kevin Spacey and David Ogden Stiers in Iron Will 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I remember the tape, not the movie. Yeah, exactly. I never watched it, but I definitely remember that. Oh, we'll do one more. Oh, we got a couple DVDs in here. All right. This is a big one. You can take that in more ways than one. The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And I'll tell you what, I was just recently watching an interview with, I just lost his first name. One of the original guys at Spumco, Fitzgerald. Oh my goodness. Well, at any rate, he actually did some storyboarding for Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. So there's a Ren and Stimpy connection to this movie. And dude almost was in it because Dom DeLuise wanted him to play a part. And it kind of fell apart because he wasn't an actor and he didn't know what he was doing. All right, so let's jump into some new releases, new campaigns that have been popping up here. And I guess I had another page for that and I didn't do it. Okay. So this is kind of cool. Villains of Old Detroit, obviously from the RoboCop franchise, from JFS Toys. These are pre-orders. They're live. The figures are $56 a piece. Now, it is a French company, so the shipping, taxes, tariffs, etc. could impact the price. You're getting shipped from overseas. But, I mean, they look like they did a pretty darn good job on these figures. Of course, I think Clarence Boddicker is probably going to be the one most people would want to buy. That was a hell of a good movie. It just worked. It's terrible, violent, etc. But man, does it just work. So that's pre-orders that are live now. Mark Miller and John Romita Jr. have a Kickstarter up for a new comic called Psychic Sam. Graphic novel is $25. The magazine edition, if you want to get that level, that tier, and so what this is, it's like an old school comic magazine from like the 70s, so it's black and white art, etc. That's $88. Kickstarter funding is live, ends July 9th, 2025. I like to help out young, new creators, so obviously Mark Miller and John Romita Jr. I'm hopefully going to boost their sales tremendously with my little channel here. No, but I did think it looked cool, and I really love that magazine version that they're doing because, God, there were so many great comic magazines back in the day. Mike Barron is adapting Larry, I don't know if is it Correa, and John Brown's Gunrunner into a huge graphic novel. You can find, I think, something at gunrunnercomics.com. I believe it's already up for sale. Now, these would be like pre-orders. I think it's $30 for the original printing is the way they put it. So I'm not real familiar with this particular sci-fi novel. But Mike Barron's cool. And so figure it would be maybe be something folks would want to look into. Mezco has pre-orders up for The Shadow. This is a 1/12 scale figure. $175, so it ain't cheap, but it looks really nice. This is the Street and Smith collector's capsule. So it's intended to be very true to the Shadow of the pulps. So he's all in black, comes with a poster, an enamel pin, and a collector's coin. And I got a few other images of it. And I mean, okay, obviously they put a little work into this photography, etc. But still, you got to have the figure to make it work. And that looks pretty darn cool. There's a few different shots. So we do get some red in there with the scarf. Very cool. Wolf and Batsy. This is a comic series. 1 second, we'll take a quick drink of coffee. This is a comic series about a werewolf and a vampire looking for a place to call their own. It is gory. It's sort of sexy. It's sort of crazy. It's funny. Brian Baugh is the creator, the writer, the artist. Good dude. I follow him on X. You should check him out. He's a cool guy. So he's putting out an art book, full color art book. This is all sorts of stuff from the series. He's been making these comics for a long time. So you're going to probably get some stuff from the books recently published, maybe some stuff from before, maybe images that he did and never actually published. Pardon me. Pre-launch page is now active on Kickstarter. You might want to check into that one. And if you've never read any of the Wolf and Batsy books, you might want to check them out. They're pretty fun. They are gory. So if you don't like gore, you're going to want to keep away from those. And reality is, I generally don't, but I think it's comic-y enough that I can deal with it. It doesn't bother me at all. But you might want to check those out. Spin Master is doing a wave of Superman action figures based on the 1978 motion picture. The solicitation, according to DCcollectors.com, so this is where I found this information, is that they're 6-inch figures, but they actually look more like 3 3/4-inch figures, like the old Star Wars figures. So that could be faulty. They look like they would be 3 3/4. Now, there's no release date or pricing yet, but if you go to www.spinmaster.com, you can take a look at these. I think I have, there's another image of the figures a little bit closer up. Very cool. Superman with that kryptonite medallion that Lex put on him. We got Lex Luthor with the toupee, which is friggin' amazing. We got Jor-El, we got Lois Lane. We guess we have 2 different Jor-Els, different costumes. We got General Zod up there. I have no idea what these are going to cost, but I'm definitely interested in taking a look at them when more information becomes available. All right, this just hit my radar here recently. This book might explode. Family friendly, intended for kids 8 to 12. Volume 1 is $38. You get 100 plus pages, stories, comics, puzzles, etc., plus some extra goodies. The 2 main people behind it are Ethan Nicole, who did Axe Cop. He used to be one of the early guys on Babylon Bee. Very wry sense of humor. And Eric Branscombe, Animaniacs writer. And both those guys, they sort of first hooked up doing those VeggieTales things, which I don't really know much about, other than the fact they existed. But other people involved, and there's quite a few, but includes Doug Tinnapel, who did Earthworm Jim, Mike Nelson from Mystery Science Theater 3000. Kills me. That was another case where, Joel leaves, Mike comes in, and I really loved them both. They both brought different things to it. We're both great on that show. And the other one, though, that got me was Jack Handy. Now, if you're my age, you might remember Jack Handy from Saturday Night Live, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy. And to be this weird dude kills me. My wife had the book. This is when we were working at the video store way back when. And so we'd be reading through the book. We weren't married yet. We weren't even going out really. But we kind of bonded over Jack Handy and Batman, I guess. But there's still bits and pieces from those deep thoughts that we quote to this day because we talked about them so much back in the day. So this book might explode. You might want to look for that one. Again, good for kids, family-friendly stuff. You can look. I think they're Kickstarter. I think they're on Kickstarter. I believe it's Kickstarter. I want to go look for that one and check it out and see what they got. Shout Factory putting out Blaxploitation Classics Volume 2. This is 4K, ultra high def, etc. This collection is going to include Cotton Comes to Harlem, Slaughter's Big Ripoff, Foxy Brown, Friday Foster, Bucktown. More info coming soon on this, so I don't think they have pricing up. although this is volume 2, so it's probably going to be about the same as volume 1. I just did a review of Friday Foster. It's a fun movie. I had fun with that one. Not safe for the kids at all. Not safe for dad if mom is in the room, because there's, Pam Grier, and yeah, there's a couple scenes. So any rate, so if you're into that good 70s stuff, you like what's his name, Tarantino, might want to check out that. And also from Shout Factory, Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2 coming in August. That's another one. More info coming. I didn't know, hun. I didn't know what was in it. It was just a movie. I'm innocent. Obviously, closed my eyes for the entire scene. Missed half the movie because I didn't know it was over yet. So, big change from Blaxploitation and Deathstalker. Titan Comics has been re-releasing Peanuts books. I didn't know this. So these are like facsimile editions of the old little books with the Peanuts comic strips. Now, Snoopy and the Red Baron is coming out this year, or maybe it already came out, but there are like 4 or 5 others. So if you're into Peanuts and you can't find the old books, you might want to check it out, because there's some good stuff there. And I love Peanuts. And in fact, I have something Peanut related here to show off in just a minute. Actually, what the heck? I'll show it off right now since we got that on the screen. So when I was a kid, there were a couple Peanuts toys that I had that just always sort of were in my room. I don't know where they first came from. They were just always there. Now, we got Linus, obviously. We got Schroeder with... I'm trying to do this in reverse here. We got Schroeder with the piano. These were just these vinyl toys. I remember playing with them in the tub when I was little. So one day, I'm going through the Goodwill auction site, and one of these shows up. I think it was a Linus. And I got the name of these things, Hungerford. These are the Hungerford Peanuts, Hungerford being a company that did vinyl toys. Okay. So I got a chance to look these up on eBay. And I did a whole video on this, so I'll be relatively brief. The most amazing thing I found out is this guy and his piano, if you get them both, if you have them both, can be worth close to $1,000. Wow. So this is like the most expensive thing that I own, probably. Well, I decided I want to sort of round out the collection a little bit. So a while back, I got Charlie Brown. And then just this last week, I managed to find Snoopy. Now, these usually will go for $100 to $150. I didn't want to pay that, so I've been keeping my eyes open. This one popped up for about $50. Oh, hey, out at a ramen house, so I can't stay. Well, hey, Vince, thanks, man, and enjoy the ramen. So this guy has a little bit of damage right here to the leg, but I figure from a display standpoint, it's great. This is one of the earlier versions of Snoopy, not the earliest. It's not the big, really round nose that we get later. I've always loved this particular design, so I was real happy to manage to find this thing, and it arrived just this week. So, of course, we should have, there's Charlie Brown and Snoopy. We'll get him to sort of look at the camera. All right, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so Hungerford Peanuts, look them up. I found the Lucy one for like $30. If you find them they originally were just like, in like a plastic bag with a little cardboard header. Oh, cool, dude. Yeah, I'll talk to you then. If you find them packaged, they will go for over $1,000. But Lucy loose, $30 to $50, $60 depends. The more expensive wave is Schroeder, Pigpen, and Baby Sally. And those are, if I didn't already have the Schroeder, I wouldn't be getting it. I don't think I'll probably ever get Pigpen and Sally because they're just way too expensive. But maybe someday, who knows? I'll probably try to get Lucy at some point and pick that one up because that'll give me a pretty good. That gives me Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, Snoopy, and Schroeder. that's a pretty good collection. They're great for display. So I'm real happy to have them. So that just came this week. Let's go to some more coming attractions. I think, this is, I think, the last coming attraction. I saw this via Plaid Stallions. Back to the drawing board, the art of Kenner Toy Designs. Of course, Kenner, best known for the Star Wars figures. So this is, let's see, 364 pages, $60, but $60 for 364 pages in color is really not too bad. Ships in November of this year. So you might want to check that out. And it really gets into the design process of the toys that Kenner produced. Obviously pre-Star Wars. I'm sure we'll get Star Wars and we'll get post-Star Wars. You might want to check that stuff out. I might pick that one up. I haven't decided yet. But that's pretty cool. Kenner was such a big thing. Okay, let's talk about some of the pickups that showed up, and then we'll do some reviews as well. So over the last week, I had a birthday. I don't do much with birthdays, but I did pick up a few cool items from wife and daughter. Super Friends t-shirt is one of them, as well as the complete Super Friends collection. I had been sort of eyeing this for a while. It initially came out for like $100, and it was just like, you don't need that badly to spend $100 on it. Well, the price has whittled down over time. I still hadn't decided. My wife decided it for me, so I got to break into those pretty soon. From my daughter, this is a kid who knows her dad. I get this cup. It's like a souvenir cup. You wouldn't actually drink out of it. And at first I saw the shape, and it looked like this other thing, this cookie jar that I've gotten in the past. I thought, oh, cool. It kind of goes with that. No. This is Yogi Bear's Jellystone Park Camp Resort. So I think it was like an RV resort that was branded with Yogi Bear. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a Yogi fan. Again, talk about stuff I was obsessed with when I was a kid. MASH, the Peanuts, Yogi Bear. Oh, thanks for the show. Yeah, I love that. Oh, and the Super Friends set. I can't wait to get into it, Anton. But at any rate, Yogi Bear, I was floored. I'm like, where did you even find this thing? Telling you what, I raised her right. She knows the nonsense that Dad likes. So I picked up a few comic books. This is the facsimile edition, Captain America's Bicentennial Battles. I had been wanting to maybe look at this book for like a video for July 4th or something for a while. So it's one that I kept my eyes on. I didn't realize they'd done a facsimile edition a few years back. Now it's still in the shrink. And you could kind of see like it's not quite like the old style, it's a little nicer. But so that I'm going to do a video for. And yeah, since it was facsimile, it was, a lot cheaper considering the shape it's in. So I was like, I'm in, man. I would recommend the Godzilla books that I just came out from Marvel. Oh yeah, Marvel. Yeah, I know. I put a thing on Twitter because the Avengers did fight Godzilla when they had the original Godzilla comic book. Marvel had that license for a while, and they sort of ended its run with a big battle with the Avengers. I don't know. I suppose Spider-Man was probably in there. I don't have the comic, but it's funny. They actually did that before. Interesting thing. Stan Lee gets the license for Godzilla for Shogun Warriors. And in return, the Japanese got the license to do their Spider-Man TV show, which, by the way, is a lot of fun. There is a giant robot involved. Spider-Man is how it's sometimes referred to. You should check it out, though. Actually, you get better fight scenes than you do with the American TV show of the same period. But when he was doing that stuff, working with the Japanese on that stuff. Stan Lee first was introduced to the Super Sentai stuff, right? And he thought, that's a great idea. And he came up with this idea. What if we took Japanese Super Sentai, we'll dub it over in English, we'll hire some American actors to do the live action segments, so we'll kind of redo those, but we'll make use of like the cool, special effects sort of footage and them in their costumes. All right. Sound familiar? So Stan was trying to get this going when he was in Hollywood for quite some time and never managed to actually make it happen. But his assistant at the time, and I say assistant, I guess I shouldn't probably say assistant. She was, with the Marvel Productions. So I think Stan was usually probably more of an idea man. She was probably running the thing, right? And her name's escaped me. She ends up getting a job doing the Fox Kids stuff. And in that position, she reaches out, and as a result, you get the Power Rangers. So in a weird way, the Godzilla comic book is connected to the Power Rangers coming to America. And in a way, Stan Lee sort of came up with the idea, the concept. So give one to Stan. But I might check those out. So I got a few other facsimiles. We got X-Men. They're doing some of the Dark Phoenix facsimiles now. They are apparently doing the Fantastic Four facsimiles out to issue 12. So I'm stoked. I was hoping they were going to do that. So we got those. And I picked up a few from the 50-cent bin. I would be bagging and boarding these, but I'm waiting for some bags and boards to show up. A little more Superman. Blocking the image a little bit there. El Diablo. I never read El Diablo. So I know this is number 15. In fact, I think this might be the last issue. But I'll start with the last issue. Got a little Legion of Superheroes. Got a couple old Flash comics. I'm a 50-cent bin, dollar bin guy. I will take, God, that's kind of, he's like holding the gun to his head in a costume like that. Maybe if you wear a costume like that, you'd be tempted. Little old Justice League. Some Firestorm. I'm getting into Firestorm. Not stuff I read in the past. They had an Iron Fist. Dude, anytime, and this one, well, the sticker says 3, but I got it out of the dollar bin at Alternate Reality Comics. Anytime you find the cheap stuff, Marvel, grab it, because frankly, the 50-cent bin, the dollar bin, you're typically going to find a lot more DC than classic Marvel. Getting some Blue Devil. Oops, Doom Patrol before it got mega weird. There's some more Firestorm. Some more Legion. All-Star Squadron. Adventures of the Outsiders. Look at that, Alan Davis. Let's bring it in close. Alan Davis, I swear. Could draw anything. A little more Superman. Adventures of Destroy. The Doom Patrol. So just a few little pickups I got this week. But the more important ones. So I got 2 comic shops I typically go to. Alternate Reality is one. Cosmic is the other. So Cosmic had, they got a bunch of new Thor, well, not new, but Thor Volume 1 comics in. So I've been trying to get the whole run on Simonson, his classic run. So a couple from the dollar bin. These are not Simonson, but I love Mighty Thor, so I was down. But it just so happened that they had pretty much every single issue that I needed except for one. So I picked that one up from mycomicshop.com. So these comics will finish up my Simonson run. I now have it all, and I'm super stoked, especially because I've never gotten to read the series from start to finish. I've been buying back issues over the years. Now, this is the one from mycomicshop.com. We got that one there. So I got that whole series now, and I think in 2026, that's what I'm going to be doing for my Monday comic flip-throughs. And since I was picking up that Thor from mycomicshop.com, I went ahead and completed my run on Checkmate as well, because I just needed 3 of those, and they're relatively inexpensive. So I managed to complete 2 runs this week, which is pretty groovy. All right, let's look at a few more from the VHS box. Iron Maze, Bridget Fonda. Oh, and Jeff Fahey. Okay. This one I do not remember at all. Academy Entertainment, rated R. Psychological thriller. And again, it's funny, you don't generally get a year on these things, or if you do, it's so small you can't read it. Because, frankly, nobody cared at the time. We care a little more about it nowadays when you're a nerd. We got... Oh, yeah. Smokey and the Bandit. One of my favorites. It's one of those movies that just feels right. It feels right to have it on a VHS tape. Oh, nice. North to Alaska. Now, you know what? I can remember watching this with my father-in-law up at his cabin in Utah. We went up there with my daughter when she was, maybe 1. My wife would probably remember. And mother-in-law was up there too, I believe. I think she was. And so I remember us watching North to Alaska, and then we tried to go to bed, and we could not get Alyssa to stop crying, man. She was going nuts. She was going nuts. We got Charlton Heston Presents The Story of Moses. That seems legit. We got a little Bonanza DVD there. Yeah, it was fun. Oh, it was a lot of fun. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff in here. We got some more George Strait. Of all things, we got Wall Street on DVD. Dick Van Dyke Show episodes. A bunch of these were probably going to be just given away to Goodwill. Because God knows we're running out of room. Ooh, McClintock. That's one of those shows I'll watch it just about any time it shows up. Hoosiers. Oh, was Belle up there too? That was our Basset Hound. Oh my God. What were we thinking? What a great plan we had. Oh Lord, demo tape of The Mighty Ducks. Over 48 million box office. Exciting comedy hit. That is great. See why audiences everywhere cheered. Oh, I miss these old demo tapes. Oh yeah, a river runs through it. I know. How high can I stack these before I have to worry about them falling down? Let's do a couple reviews here. What do we start with? We'll build up a little bit. Superman versus Shazam Facsimile Edition came out this week. And I got to tell you something, dude. Some really great art in this thing. Nicely cleaned up. I want to say Rich Buckler and Dick Giordano doing the art chores. There's a whole scheme to bring these two into conflict. They've sort of messed with their minds. And they rampage across America. There's Superman first going into action. Pretty good. It was a fun little story. Nothing like world shattering. We have get kind of close in. We got Mary Marvel. She thinks Superman's kind of cute. And Supergirl's like, whoa, that's my cousin. What are you doing? So that was fun. I like that one. I love that they're putting these facsimiles out. Now, I talked about this in an earlier stream, the Atlantean issue 2. I've now read the Atlantean issue 2. And it is great. This is like Savage Sword of Conan, old school, from back in the day. Get an idea of the art from Russ Leach. I always want to get Randy Zimmerman and Charles Santino did some of the writing as well. Really fun. This is King Cole going up against Serpent People. But honestly, it's just, the art's fantastic. Really fun stories. They get the feel of it all just perfectly right. Love it. But maybe the big one this week was Isom number 3. I'm going to keep it in the plastic at the moment because if I was to show almost any interior stuff, it's going to give things away. And that's a good thing about this too, because this is the end of the first story arc for Isom from Rippaverse. So this is a big book. You can kind of see. This is a sizable volume. I picked it up yesterday and I thought, well, I want to review it in my live stream. It's pretty big. I'll read some, put it down, I'll get it finished. Just like with the first Isom, I picked it up and I didn't put it down until I was finished. You get some great revelations in this one. You meet more of his family. And there's a great scene involved in that. I mean, a great scene. I was like, what? Oh, man. You learn about his powers and where they come from. And of course, as with any good comic book, you learn something and it opens up story possibilities. Oh, wait a minute. Well, if that's true. And you do get, I think, a nice ending for that first arc, but open-ended enough that you can get more out of it. It doesn't, it's not like movies where they have to kill the villain at the end of every one. Nope. But it does set up future stuff for you. Good book. I enjoyed it. He's kind of the Superman of his universe. And I don't mean that in terms of his, his power set, although we're feeling out his powers a little bit more as we go. But he's the first. He was the first character we met in the Rippaverse. I like to see a good ending for that first arc. Looking forward to more Isom when Eric gets around to writing it. So I enjoyed it a lot. So there you go. Those are my comic book reviews for this stream. I'm trying to see. Oh, Lord. Oh, here's one. See, now I can actually see what these are because the way they're stacked in there, I can read the tops of them. Honey, I Shrunk. The kids. With Roger Rabbit. Tummy trouble. Might hold on to this just for that. See if we got any other ones worth looking at in here. Oh, cool. Speaking of, The 10 Commandments, Charlton Heston. Double tape set. That's what those looked like back in the day. There's a bunch of stuff. Okay. Oh, cool. Look at that demo copy of Tombstone. The $55 million all-star hit. Oh, nice. All right, I'll probably hold on to that. That's cool. What do we got? Oh, long trailer. I think that was one of my mother-in-law's movies. I know she liked that one a lot. That's a fun movie. My wife will remember that. Oh, sweet. Overboard. There's some good stuff in here, man. If you never watched that one, fun little movie. God, we used to watch that at the video store a lot. Don't love that. What is this? Oh, cool. Carol Burnett show. That's probably one of the specials they did at some point. All right, let's wrap this dude up with some movie reviews. Just a few. Flaxy Martin, 1949. This is a crime picture, kind of a film noir. Virginia Mayo. This is the second time I watched it. And the first time I was sort of, this one I liked a little better. She was good in it. You also had, Dorothy Malone's in it. She's very good. And I'm trying to read the darn, Zachary Scott. Okay. Yeah, and he was okay. He was okay in it. But basically, she's sort of a femme fatale. Sets a guy up who's kind of a crooked lawyer, and he's got to sort of get away and track down who's responsible for this crime that he didn't really commit. Pretty good flick. It's worth it. Again, 49, black and white. The Mugger. So I did a review recently of the TV show called 87th Precinct. It's based on Ed McBain crime novels. The Mugger, also based on Ed McBain crime novels. But with a lot of character switching around, it was okay. I wasn't in love with it. There was a few good bits in it. But the lead character, I don't know, just didn't do much for me. I think if it had been like Steve Carell from the books, it would have worked a lot better. Maisie Was a Lady. This is an Ann Southern movie. This is like, they did a bunch of these. They were kind of like programmers. So you get maybe a couple a year. Maisie is this showgirl who gets involved in all sorts of different situations. It's kind of comedy. It's got drama to it. They're kind of fun. I enjoyed it. I'd never watched them before. I've watched a couple now. Lou Ayres is in this one. He's always good. C. Aubrey Smith, also always good character actor. If you watch old movies, you probably know who he is if you watched it. Okay, this one was interesting. This is from 1938. Two Gun Man from Harlem. So they did a series of B-Westerns with black casts. And I got to tell you something. It's pretty damn fun. Manton Moreland is in it doing some comedy relief, which is why I clicked on it in the first place. I was doing a search for other movies he had been in. And you know what? It's a Western. It's a B-Western, bad guys doing bad things, good guys being good. The fight scenes, the choreography's not great, but by and large, it's just like a Western of the period. So if you like those old B-Westerns, probably dig this. Sadly, the only copy I found online was not terribly good. There's some skips in it and stuff, but you might want to check it out. If you think, oh, it's a black Western, it's a Western, and by the way, there were a lot of African Americans in the Old West, a lot more than people, I think, probably realize nowadays. So this I watched last night, and we'll finish on this. Hard Times, 1975, Charles Bronson, James Coburn. Good flick. First movie, I think, directed by William Hill. It's an interesting movie. It's a kind of a quiet movie. It's got kind of a slow pace to it. Basically, Bronson is a street fighter, bare knuckle boxer in pickup fights. So that means there's no prize you're fighting for. It's all betting. That's what you make your money off of. So you got to have a stake. James Coburn is kind of a con man, oftentimes out of money, who hooks up with this guy to make some money in New Orleans. I think the most interesting thing about it, though, because the fight's pretty good. The choreography wasn't awesome, in my opinion. In other words, you can kind of see that the punches are not landing. So I think they could have been filmed a little better, but it's really a matter of these characters who are all sort of like con men, dishonest, etc., dealing with this man, this fighter, Doesn't say a lot, but he's an honest man. He's an honorable man when you get right down to it. And sort of like the impact he has on their lives, which really sums up in the final scene. Worth watching, though, set in the 1930s during the Depression. Really good. And I was watching it, and my wife was in like the kitchen, and I'm like going, dude, Bronson in this movie, that's Old Man Logan. And I've been watching his TV series, Man with a Camera. There's a couple episodes where he does some boxing. So he has the shirt off, and you're going, dude, Charles Bronson was like, holy crap. This dude was, I mean, it was all muscle. There's no fat on this dude. And even then I was going, yeah, with like his delivery and the way he acts, he would have been an awesome Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine hadn't been invented yet. And I don't know that Bronson wasn't somewhat of an inspiration. I know there's a particular actor who was the specific inspiration for the look of Wolverine. But Bronson, like, dude, Bronson is Wolverine. He really is. And that was never going to happen, but would have been fun to think about. So we are just over an hour. I hope everybody had a good time. Here I am trying to like grab the mouse and do stuff, and I can't get to it because of, I mean, my desk is absolutely covered. If we kind of lean forward, you can see I got that. I got toys over here. What a friggin' mess. But that's pop culture, and it's fun. And so what can I say? And now I got to go through the rest of these videotapes and see what we might want to hold on to and what we might want to get rid of. Because I don't know where they're all going to go, frankly. But we'll see. So I hope everybody had some fun on this stream. We talked about some new releases. We talked about some nonsense that's shown up in the den, VHS tapes. Godspeed to Loretta Swit, wonderful actress, wonderful lady from everything I've heard. And we talked about a few movies. So hopefully I have successfully wasted an hour of your time today in a good way. Thanks for everybody in the chat. I really appreciate that. I'll talk with him later, probably on Twitter. We go back and forth on stuff. I am, by the way, on Twitter. If you want to follow me there, it's it's a lot of the same nonsense. What can I say? I am what I am. So hopefully everybody has a groovy Sunday. I will see you hopefully again soon in Dad's Den. In the meantime, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another and have a little bit of fun. And so long for now. Bye-bye.